Go ahead and grab that. So yes, it's telling me I'm alive. I did not do a countdown. Hi, hi, hi over here on StreamYard. Yes, yes, yes. Facebook. Good afternoon, people. I'm Ms. Steph, and like I said, we are live for Science with Ms. Steph. Very good. I just got my little notification over there. Let me pull this link very quickly and go ahead and just cross post. So yeah. Like I said, Ms. Steph here. If you want to do the activity with me, please go ahead and grab your Play-Doh that we made on Thursday. We're going to take that Play-Doh to the next level, people. We're going to take that Play-Doh, like I said, to the next level and um, turn it into a very, very fun project. Give me a moment. Let's go ahead and get this cross post situated. Yes. All right. Yeah, so my people on Instagram, you should be able to hear me just perfectly fine. Folks over on Facebook, if you're having any trouble hearing me, please let me know. I'm seeing the captions coming through on Facebook, so most likely the sound is therefore happening, right? Because that's what they're doing. The computer is actually reading, um, well, transmitting my words into my verbal words into what you can see visually. So anyway, the sound should be working over there. And boom, let me go ahead and put this post up. Post now. Yeah, folks. So we're going to have some fun today as we it's still, in my opinion, um, right? We make science fun. That's like our thing. In case you haven't noticed, we make science. I mean, I try. I really do. Like that's my thing. That's my mission. I genuinely mean that. When I'm saying we make science fun, like it's not just it's a cute little thing to tag on Instagram. No, really, I want this to be fun and enjoyable for you and your developing scientist. For those of you who are just now joining me, for those of you who like this is your first time here, know that I really have kind of a mix of audiences. One of my two main audiences is hi, the kids, hello, directly to the children. And then, of course, to use the adults in their life, whether it be that you're a science teacher looking for new ideas. And thank you. It's my honor and privilege to give you ideas. And if you're a child care provider in any type of way to help you to give you some ideas for so those are my clients for traveling science teacher. If I've already done the lesson with your group, of course, coming on and watching the Facebook that turns into a YouTube video and watching my live on Instagram, of course, that will help you kind of like go back through different things. And then last but not least, adult caregivers, right? Those of you who are in the home working with young people, you're raising kids and you're trying to figure out um, what to do with them while we're home. In particular, on the Northeast, it's like cold today. I was out there. Um, you should see a new Central Park video from me very shortly. Y'all know how I do. I try to make sure I get all my stuff up and running. For those of you who happen to not want to do the actual walk in Central Park yourselves today, at the I think actual temperature is, of course, we're in the U.S. and so I'm still saying things in Fahrenheit. Is somewhere in the mid 20s, the temperature, and then our wind chill is like 9 or something crazy like that. But so yeah, if you don't feel like going out there yourselves, know that there's a video coming very shortly, and that video, there'll be some snippets on Instagram and TikTok in the near future, and then there'll be the full 2 or 3 minute video that I'll upload to YouTube, and of course, cross post like I do everything else. As you can see, I've got some gloves on. Do you have to have gloves today? No, but you'll see why I threw mine on. I frankly love food coloring, and it doesn't really bother me if I get it all over my hands. But it just as a practice, I figured today, since I actually have the gloves here in my laboratory, I figured I would put them on. So yeah. Hi. Welcome to Science with Ms. Steph. For those of you who are watching, please make sure that you are sharing this with your friends and fam and all that kind of stuff, because folks, um, that's how we make sure that the content gets to everybody, is by sharing. If not, people aren't going to know what's going on. They're not going to get a chance to to and to they're not going to get a chance to get this content, because that's one of the things that our organization does. We provide this content um, for all folks. Like, it's not just about saying, oh, you have to be able to come to our class. No, like, actually, um, we like to make sure that it's available for folks, whether or not you can come to the class. So anyway, I'm going to hop right in, and I'll tag people in later. I'm not going to use y'all's time with me to try to like tag and all that type of stuff. So yeah, hi, Science with Ms. Steph. I'm Ms. Steph. We are going to take our DIY Play-Doh. So I'm hopping right in. I figured that we had enough intro, right? We had a good 5 minutes of intro, so we should be ready to go ahead and go and roll. So the Play-Doh that I made the other day, as you can see, it's perfectly fine. There's no microorganisms or anything. It doesn't smell bad. For those of you who were here though on Instagram, for those of you who were here with me, you know that I added some orange oil to it. FYI, the orange oil smell is kind of like not really there. And so if you're on the other side, it's there. Okay, so if you're curious about whether or not that smell sticks around and how long it sticks around, this is me doing the science for you, doing the experimentation, the investigation for you, right? So this is another thing that we do here at Ms. Steph Science Club, is we do the stuff that maybe you might not want to try just yet. First, you want to see it done, okay? And then you want to, and then try it, right? And so that's one of the things that I do for you, whoever you might be. And I already talked to you who you might be, right? One of my students at an after school, for a daycare program. Maybe you and your family watch me on the weekend because you miss me. I miss you, right? Or in particular, one of my programs that frankly just didn't have everybody on site this week, because that happened too. Or maybe you're one of the parents who's met me at various events, and you're just like, hey man and stuff, I need some help doing some stuff. And again, like I said, teachers, various educators. So there's different people that I know watch me. Okay. So yeah, so today's activity, we're going to take this DIY Play-Doh and turn it into the layers of the earth. Now, when we're talking about earth science, when we're talking about any science, right, the information does not change, but the information we know increases, right? And so I'm going to say that again, right? The information may seem like it's changing, but in reality, the scientists are just studying. And so they just happen to know more about a situation than they may have known previously. All right. And I say that just on a general understanding for those who are not like real hardcore in the sciences, which I hope you become that, because like we need more of you in various sciences. Like, there are hundreds of kinds of different scientists. Like, there are like ecologists and different kinds of ecologists. There are different kinds of biologists that study various kinds of plants and then like plants within the spectrum. You know what I mean? So anywho, there's room. There's room for you and I to be scientists, right? There's room for that. All are welcome kind of thing. And that being said, like I said, I say that just so that one, you don't get frustrated, and two, you also do more of your own work. Hopefully, this project will help you launch into getting some more information about the layers of the earth. I'm teaching the primary, like the four main layers that there are, and then there are sub layers within that. Okay, so once again, we're going to talk about the four main layers. All right, and so the crust, right? So we have crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. Once again, and I'm going from like the stuff that's the most outside all the way into the inside. Crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. All right. So let's go ahead and put that down inside of our in our banners, right? Because my folks watching on Facebook can see some more stuff. Crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. Right? Cool, 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 cool. Uh-oh. That's an N instead of an E. There we go. Let's make sure. Put this there. All right. And show. So yeah, like I said, today's project is Layers of the Earth using our DIY Play-Doh from Thursday. And as you can see, for those of you who didn't happen to watch Thursday, you can tell that our Play-Doh doesn't have any color to it. All right. And so I'm going to add the color now. All right. But yes, I'm making 4 layers. That's why you saw me earlier. I don't know if you may have noticed that I separated during my kind of secondary, not just the intro to the thing, but then like the intro to our class, to our lesson today, right? You saw me separate our pieces into then 4 sections. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start with the lightest color that I'm going to use. I'm doing 4 different colors today. And remember, y'all, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. All right. So you saw how I put the food coloring inside of there, and now you'll really get an understanding of why she's wearing gloves today. All right. What? Very quick. It's a very quickly because of the high pigmentation. Okay, very strong. Uh-oh. One of my earpieces is falling out. All right. And we'll just let it be. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay. Yeah. So right now I'm actually making what I am going to use as the inner core. Okay. Okay. And we'll talk about what each thing is. So let's have a conversation, okay, about the inner core. All right. And mind you, this is just kind of a bit of an intro, yeah, because this is some pretty intense geology, okay? The type of scientist that studies the rocks of the earth, that's a geologist, all right? And essentially, the earth, for lack of a better way of saying it, if I have geologists on, I hope I'm not hurting their feelings, but I'm just like kind of basically the earth is a big rock, okay? It's solid, and there's liquid parts of it, but it's a lot of rock and a lot of metal. Okay. So the Earth's inner core is the innermost geologic layer of planet Earth. It is primarily, as far as science is concerned these days, a solid ball with a radius of about 1,220 kilometers. Okay, for those of us who are not on the metric system, that is 760 miles. It is not a small ball. Very, very large ball. Okay. Um, okay. So it's about the size, which is about 20% of the Earth's radius and about 70% of the moon's radius. Okay. So we have something that's just slightly smaller than the moon on the inside of the Earth. There are no samples of Earth's core accessible for direct measure at this time, right? Okay. And we'll talk more about why that is. There have been plenty of sci-fi movie, I tell you, trust me, I watch them. Um, about trying to get to the Earth's core, but there's some things going on with trying to do that. All right, so anywho, as you can see, I have my nice yellow, my bright yellow, okay, that I'm going to use for the Earth's core. And I have a plate here that I'm going to use for the base of my model. And you'll notice that I'm going to kind of do this like pie version of the layers of the earth. And I'll show you a bit more what that means later as far as when I say I'm doing kind of like a little bit of a pie slice situation. Okay. And as I said earlier, I was doing like the lightest color first, right? Okay. And now let's talk about the outer core. Okay, again, this is more of just an intro to geology, an intro to the layers of the earth. And I specifically said earlier, for those of you who are just joining me, hi, Ms. Steph here, and for Science with Ms. Steph, hi, it's January 8th, 2022. I've done several lives over the last couple of days. And so if you want to know how to make this DIY Play-Doh, check out MS STEPH_TFE over on Instagram, and you'll get a chance to see how I made this DIY Play-Doh. And you notice I'm adding the color to it now. Okay. So all I'm doing is literally making a flat surface and now folding it back up. That's why I have my gloves on today, to make it so that I can just get in there and not worry about whether or not it's getting my hands dirty. You all know food coloring is like my favorite material. I just find it so useful. It's so awesome. Okay. And then of course you see my red is just getting everywhere. I originally was going to use my plate as my base. I'll figure that out later in a little bit. But yeah, so red and yellow make orange. Okay. And we're talking about our outer core. We're talking about the layers of the earth. I'm just doing a quick little intro to the layers of the earth and showing you how you can turn DIY Play-Doh, folks, into a fun earth science project, right? Something to help visualize, to help you visualize, or your young scientist, one of the two, to help y'all visualize the layers of the earth. And mind you, like I said earlier, these are the 4 main layers. The layers are actually broken up into like some sub layers, okay? And you can look those names up should you decide to go further into learning more and more about this particular concept, all right? So the outer core is a fluid layer, okay, folks? This is the information that I have. I explained earlier how science seems like it's changing just simply because when a scientist gets new information, they give you the information they have, okay? So this is our fluid layer, okay? It is 2,400 kilometers thick, also known as 1,500 miles, okay? Composed of mostly iron and nickel that lies above the solid core, right? So you'll see when I start to put together my kind of pie shape, okay? My pie shape of the Earth's layers will have internally what is depicting the inside, which will be the inner core, and then we'll have our orange be our outer core, okay? And the orange, right? You see how quickly that came together? Ah, It's very fun. Play-Doh is a great activity. Play-Doh is an awesome science activity. Lots of chemistry involved in Play-Doh, and then lots of kind of understanding of physical science when you get into then using the Play-Doh and seeing how whether or not it keeps its shape and all that type of stuff. And you see how, like when I let it go and it's been worked, okay, even though this Play-Doh is actually 2 days old, okay, you see it's a soft substance, okay, and the color is pretty, pretty intense there. All right, next color I'm going to do is the red. Just red all by itself. And the red, folks, does anybody know? Does anyone know what um, what the red is, right? The red is going to be the mantle. Yes, 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 the mantle. And for those of you who are going to watch this later, all right, you're going to watch it later, please feel free to send me any questions, okay, at Miss Steph at tfempowerment.org. MSSTEPH at tfempowerment.org. All right. Do. Squishy, 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 squishy. Y'all, this is very satisfying, as some of my students would say. They'd be like, how satisfying this stuff. It is. It's quite fun. It's amazing the different types of science you can learn by doing what we used to consider just art activities, right? There's some art and science go really hand in hand, and so that's why we teach STEAM at Ms. Steph Science Club. STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Okay, right? Music involves quite a bit of fractions. Okay. Fine arts involves a lot of comprehension of how materials work together. There's a lot of chemistry when you're talking about doing like painting and so on and so forth. Chemistry is a really strong reality to a painter. Okay. How do those chemicals work together, whether they do or they don't, right? All those types of things. All right, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more. Okay, you see I'm getting kind of a bit of a pink, which makes sense, right? How do you get pink? Red and white, okay? And in essence, my base Play-Doh, right? My base product was like white or like beige, right? So beige and red end up giving you kind of this pinkish color, even with my super red food color. All right. And I'll also let you know, for those of you wondering if I'm getting more of an order, more of that orange oil that I put inside of this, right? Because I made it so that it was a full sensory experience, not just touch, not just sight, but smell. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining me for Science with Miss Steph. I'm on today, and I have my email address there. I'm going to say my email address one more time. MSSTPH at tfempowerment.org. Today, for those of you just now joining me, if you're wondering what project is she doing today, let's pop that banner back up. Layers of the Earth with DIY Play-Doh. And we have talked about the inner core, the outer core, and right now I'm making the mantle. Let's talk about what's in the mantle. The mantle is a mostly solid bulk of Earth's interior. The mantle lies between Earth's dense superheated core and its thin outer layer, the crust. Okay, so for those of you wondering, the crust is a thin layer. So even though I'm going to turn up turn a large portion of Play-Doh into our brown to represent our crust. I will be depicting it as a very small layer because in comparison to the rest of the bulk of the earth, the crust is very, very small. Okay. And that leads us to the crust. The crust is the outer layer. All right. The crust is the outer layer. We have the oceanic crusts. Okay. The crust is literally just the outer layer. And you guessed it, I'm making the crust brown. All right. So, yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Miss Steph, and this is Science with Ms. Steph. We are doing a model of the layers of the earth. And when I say the layers, I'm talking about the 4 primary layers that most of us know about and need to know about for our daily lives. But for those of you interested in going further into geology, I strongly suggest that you learn more about the layers, right? And the sub layers, okay? The how the different layers are broken up. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining me today. For Science with Ms. Steph Brown. Okay, as promised, I'm turning my Play-Doh project that we did last Thursday. Well, not last Thursday, this past Thursday. I'm turning Play-Doh, okay, into a geology project. Okay, we're learning about geology, right? Do you see how all the sciences can come together? It's very, very intriguing. So now we need to think like engineers. The challenge is to make kind of this depiction of the earth, but like a pie slice of it. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. I feel like the brown is mixed in enough. You see how I did that. I took the Play-Doh, I thinned it out, I put it, I made it kind of a flat thing. I put the food coloring inside and then squished it up. That's if you want to take plain Play-Doh and make it into several colors. If you want to do the color, you want to add the color to it when you're making the Play-Doh, you can just simply add it in the water step. I repeat, the water step that we added when we added water on Thursday. Once again, go back and check out that video that I did on Instagram. Okay. When we added the water layer on Thursday, not water layer, but with the water component, you can just simply add your food coloring in that step. Okay. You can add food coloring to the water. That's usually what I do when I'm making DIY Play-Doh. I no longer add it in weird ways. I just add it to the water. Alrighty then. So my gloves, as you can see, are relatively clean. Okay. Because the Play-Doh is such a lovely and intriguing substance. Okay. The Play-Doh actually keeps the pigment kind of inside of itself. Okay. So I'm going to take my gloves off. I don't need them anymore. And because I'm looking at being kind of just conserving the earth, I'm going to just use the plate that I have. Yes, the plate is kind of messy, but that's fine. It's no big deal. All right. And this particular plate is one of the biodegradable plates, in case you're wondering whether or not I'm making responsible choices for our planet, right? Okay, cool. So as we said before, we're doing kind of a bit of a pie crust thing. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to start to build. Ball, I'm taking a ball. This is my inner core. This is going to represent my inner core, and this is going on the bottom. So what you can do, right, you can kind of graph out. I'm going to make like a really giant piece of pie on my plate. with my pencil. Okay. Okay. I'm drawing the bottom, basically the bottom of my triangle. It's really hard to see. You can see it on Instagram. Okay. And then I'm going to take my inner core. Okay. Let me tilt you down. I'm taking my inner core. And you can tell that this is going to be covered up. So it's no big deal that the plate is kind of dirty because it's going to be covered up, right? I'm going to take my inner core and make that the bottom, okay, of my pie slice, okay? Once again, this is Science with Ms. Steph. We're trying something a little different today. We're using something that we made on Thursday to help us learn and to demonstrate what we've been learning about the layers of the earth. We just did a quick little lesson about the layers of the earth. Okay, so then my next layer is my outer core. So I have my inner core and then my outer core. That's my next layer. Okay, now for those of you who know about doing projects to scale, right? Is this project going to be to scale? No, right? Okay. It's just a depiction. Okay. And once again, you're seeing how I'm covering up the part of the plate that's like dirt. So it's not going to be an issue. But in the end, I will have this pie slice that represents, okay, the layers of the earth. I'm learning about the layers of the earth. I'm actually going to use quite a bit of this. Okay. So we have our inner core, our outer core, and then, folks, people, we're going to put down neatly. See what I'm doing? I used my frame that I made, used my knowledge, my math and science knowledge to complete this fun geological engineering project, right? Math and science knowledge. And now I have my mantle. Okay? The mantle. Right? It's coming together quite nicely. And then I'm going to make my crust, which is my brown layer. Okay? And of course, it's going to be pretty small. I'm not going to put a lot because we know that the crust is actually the thinnest layer of the earth. Okay? The earth is made up of so many different things. There's a lot that's happening on the crust, right? The crust is the part that we actually live on. But the bulk, the majority of the planet, okay, is under under the crust. Okay. So I'm gonna put this here, right? And it looks kind of like a big old piece of pie, doesn't it? Right. Learning about the layers of the earth. I really encourage you to learn about various kinds of science, right? There are multiple kinds of science. There's a lot of science that we learned by doing this particular activity. Yeah? All right, so I'm gonna, no, my things are full. Tilt back up very quickly and put this earpiece in just real quickly. Ah, silly Miss Steph, right? All right. Just want to make sure that you can still hear me, right? Yeah, just making sure. There we go. Just doing a quick sound check. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we did layers of the earth with DIY Play-Doh, y'all. And the four main layers, and I really want to impress that upon you that we learned about the four main layers, but there are smaller pieces to each layer, and there are different functions that they have on our planet. So we have the brown layer, okay, just like a piece of pie is our crust. Oh, I'm getting a lot of glare, right? So our brown layer is our crust. This layer is our mantle. This layer is our outer crust. And then we have our inner crust. Sorry, outer core. Sorry, guys. Gal's person. Inner core. Okay, so let's go backwards. Inner core, outer core, the mantle, all right, which is a solid layer. This core, this part is liquid. It's like it's liquid, okay? Well, not liquid, but well, yeah, just this is our liquid part, okay? And but this is solid. This is considered most scientists, based on my understanding, right? That is considered like literally this ball, okay, that's at the center of the earth and it's spinning, okay? Um, right? Inner core, outer core, mantle, crust. The crust is the part that we live on. All right. And if you can imagine, right, that if this was all filled up and turned into a 3D shape, it would look like our friend, the earth. Okay. So it was great hanging out with you all today. I'm Ms. Steph. Thank you for joining me for Science with Ms. Steph, Layers of the Earth. I look forward to seeing you next time. Due to all the various things that are going on, we probably will not have in-person Saturday Science for another couple of weeks. I just want to make sure that everyone is safe and that we're making choices that are responsible for the whole community. All right, and so most likely you'll be seeing me online here at 2:30 Eastern. Please make sure that you reach out to me via Ms. Steph at tfempowerment.org if you would like to make a request for a project or if you have any questions about the project that we just did. All right. And of course, if you want to support what we're doing, you can always just go to our website, or you can, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see the link to our specific Y STEAM fundraiser. And of course, my friends on Instagram, you can hop over to the link that's there in my profile. All right. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off here first. Thank you so much for joining me for Science with Ms. Steph. Remember to like, share, and subscribe and follow us in our various locations.